Okie dokies, and I am back with a Fireball and Coke because I didn't have any other kind of bourbon on me. So that's what I'm going to be drinking while doing this chat. Unless, of course, I forget about it like I do with most of my beverages, and then it just goes warm. So, okay, what have we got to talk about today? We are talking about Jones versus Gus, or UFC 232. Overall, not just Jones versus Gus, but obviously that's going to be a large portion of it. Okay, so let's get to what good old Dan wanted to say about this fight. So he reckons Jones on roids going to be at peak performance, but still thinks Gus is going to win. Fair enough. That's his opinion on it. Well, Jones does struggle with these bigger guys. You wouldn't believe it. I actually just recorded like half of this chat, and then the whole thing just decided to shit itself because my headphones stopped working and just things stopped recording. So I'm pretty much re-talking about what I spoke about like 3 minutes ago. So this should be interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so let's look at this fight. Jones versus Gus. So you got Gustafsson at 5. I think it's 6'5". Yeah, Gus at 6'5". And then you've got Jones at 6'4", I believe. Yes, with a reach of 84.5 inches, or 215 centimeters for all you people that aren't American. And okay, what's Gus's reach? So Gus's reach is 79 inches, so that's 201 centimeters. So we've got two big-ass dudes fighting it out. One person being accused of being on many supplements because he keeps on pissing hot for God knows what reason, because apparently he's innocent every time, which maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Maybe a lot of people who are pissing hot and getting punished fucking big time, like Lyoto Machida and Tom Lawler and Frank Mir. Maybe they're not innocent either, but it seems like Jones keeps on getting away with all this shit, and all these other people get away with it. I guess if you have a lot of money, you can buy better lawyers that can get you away with a lot more shit that other people can't get away with. Who knows? I might talk about that a little bit more, because I did research a bit about what Jeff Novinsky was saying, which did make a bit of sense. So I might get into that. Anyways, let's talk about the fight. So for me, I haven't done much research on this fight as I was hoping to do. I was hoping to go into a few more of Alexander Gustafsson fights, but unfortunately I've only managed to look at the first Jones versus Gus fight, so I'll quickly get into that. In that fight, it's, Jones kind of counter-struck for the first 3 rounds. He's never done well when he counters. He countered for a little bit against Machida, and he got touched up a little bit for it. He didn't like that too much, and then he quickly switched up his game in the second round, end up choking him unconscious. So he's never been too much of a counter striker. He normally imposes his will type of thing. He does what he wants in the fight when he wants to do it. So for the first first 2.5 to 3 rounds, that's kind of what he did. He kind of just counter struck, and he kind of got outstruck that entire time. So I don't know. I don't feel as though Jones is going to make the same mistake, because going into that first fight, Alexander Gustafsson was incredibly underrated. Everyone thought that he was just going to get smoked, and this was going to be a cakewalk for John Jones, because he was coming off his best performance would have been his fight against Shogun, because like that's a name, or Thiago Silva, because once again a name, and prior to that it was Vladimir Matyushenko, Matt Hamill, James Tahuna, and Cyril Diabate. So not very big names. Everyone kind of assumed he would get destroyed by Jones, especially previously getting taken down by Phil Davis and choked out in the first round relatively easily. So people thought John Jones had this in the bag, and if John Jones wanted to take it to the ground, he could. But they quickly found out Jones really struggled with, well, presumably the size and the speed of Gus, because Gus he used a shitload of footwork in that fight. He was constantly moving. Jones just couldn't get a read on him. So yeah, I just feel like going to that fight, Jones kind of underestimated Gustafsson the same way a lot of other people did. But previous to that fight, a lot of people don't really look at what Jones had accomplished previous to that fight. Jones fought pretty much 4 middleweights previous to that fight. He fought Chael Sonnen, Vitor Belfort, Rashad Evans, and Lyoto Machida. So pretty much 4 middleweights in a row. Sure, they were fighting a light heavyweight, but you could argue that Vitor Belfort was probably the biggest out of all of them, and he spent more time at middleweight than all of them. And he beat Quinton Rampage Jackson. Yeah, sure, legit light heavyweight. But then Shogun Rua, not exactly a big light heavyweight. In fact, not even that big of a middleweight. So yeah, who was the tallest guy or the biggest guy? Jake O'Brien was probably the biggest guy that he fought. Jake O'Brien or Stephen Bonner, and he did pretty well against them. So yeah, I feel like not a lot of people want to admit to the fact that Jones does struggle against people of like similar size to him. I mean, he struggled against OSP and Gustafsson, two people that are of like similar size to him. Glover, not really, because Glover. How big is Glover? He seems like a pretty solid bloke. He's 6'2". Plays kind of like a boxing game. I know, probably just stylistically, just very easy for John to beat because he demolished Paul Glover, ripped his shoulder in half too. Kind of lost the point that I was trying to get at. Oh yeah, so the size for Gus, I feel like the size of Gus and his record previously, people kind of seriously underestimating going to that fight. Now that he's fought guys like, so now that he's already fought Jones and guys like Daniel Cormier, and he's knocked out Glover Teixeira, had a pretty boring fight against Jan Blachowicz, but still beat him with relative ease. People now, no one's underestimating him anymore. Everyone's kind of like, oh no, this guy's going to be the man to do. I feel like a lot of people also picking Gustafsson because they're like, we don't want Jones to win because he's a steroid cheat and blah 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 blah. But they're kind of not thinking, well, Jones is going to take this fight a little bit more seriously than he has against previous people, and against OSP he did have short notice. So given proper preparation time, he probably would have demolished OSP. But who knows? Maybe he still would have struggled the same as he did against Gustafsson. But now he's had a lot more time to get ready for Gus. I feel as though he's not gonna fall into the trap of playing that counter striking game again. He's going to make sure he's going to dictate every part of this fight, and it might even end in a finish. I reckon he might even take him down and submit him, or even ground and pound him, because John Jones got some serious ground and pound, as we saw against many of people, such as, well, Shogun copped it a little bit, Vitor copped it a little bit, Sonnen, he copped it too, and most of all, poor Daniel Cormier copped it the most in his last fight. So there we go. That's kind of how I feel like that fight's going to go. I feel like it's going to be a late submission, say 4th round submission or something like that, 4th or 5th, because Alexander Gustafsson, he moves around way too much. He can't hold that. He just can't hold that cardio for that amount of time, moving the way he's moving. No one can. It's like saying, can you sprint for 3 kilometers? No one can sprint for 3 kilometers. That's a goddamn sprint. That's why sprints go for like 800 meters at most. You can't sprint that kind of length. So yeah, I feel like it's going to be a late submission. And going into the drug testing and all that, Jeff Novinsky, I just to give a quick rundown on why there's all this pulsing, as they're calling it. It seems though with these drugs, a lot of these metabolites, especially the metabolites for this turinabol, gets stuck in it gets stored. So it doesn't all just disappear out of your body, like you just piss it all out or shit it all out. Not everything comes out in your waste. A lot of things get stored in like your tissues of your body, your fat tissues. Some in like your normal just fat tissue, others in your what they call adipose tissue. Adipose tissue is the tissue that's found around, say, like your organs and whatnot. So the fat tissue around your organs, it's very rare that that's ever going to get touched, and you're rarely ever going to use that as an energy source, especially in a first world country like Australia or America or whatever. You're never going to. It's very rare you're going to use that as an energy source. That's very low on the totem pole of energy sources. But for guys like John Jones or any fighter in general, obviously doing the weight cut, these weight cuts they do, especially for a guy of John Jones' size, or even Gustafsson's size, but obviously he hasn't popped for this type of stuff in the past. So this type of drug can be stored in the adipose tissue for long periods of time because there's no reason for it to go anywhere else. Of course, it's just going to stay there. So when you start cutting weight, you start using all these other energy sources, or all this, your fat, like your body fat percentage gets pretty low at that point in time. So your body just starts giving off energy from other places, such as the adipose tissue surrounding your organs. So that's where they're claiming that this pulsing is coming from, which if you look at it like that, yeah, it kind of does make sense. Might also still be bullshit. Sorry, my headphones keep on turning off. I do not know why. Yeah, this could be complete and utter bullshit, but it also may not be complete and utter bullshit. It might be legit. I got something here? Oh, look at that. I got a sticker. I just noticed that. So, yeah. Happy John Jones. I had all these things set up. Look at these graphics and whatnot. So, yeah, you look at the size of John Jones, man. A guy like that trying to cut weight. All those stores. It kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. I'm not gonna go too much more into that because I don't know too much more about it. I did have a bit written down, but it's late. It's almost midnight. Just drove back from Phillip Island. I'm a bit tired, a bit out of sorts. Doing my best here. All right, so let's move down. What fight have we got next? Hey, look at this. I got Jeff Nowitzki talking about his these adipose tissues and pulsing and whatnot. There you go, another graphic for you guys. But let's talk about what could have been the real main event, because no one's talking about this fight because obviously people only give a shit about people that are popped for drugs. Oh, wait a second. Kris Cyborg has. Only difference is, how long ago was that? Because she cops so much shit for the fact that she popped for steroids back in 2011. So that's 7 years ago. So 7 years ago she popped for, what is it? What's it called? Stanozol. Okay, test positive for stanozol. Don't know what that is, but it sounds like a steroid. Even says here it was a steroid, so she popped for that. But that was 7 years ago, and she still cops a lot of shit for that. Like every fight, people talk about it. This seems like the very first fight that she's ever taking part in, and nobody's talking about it. Like, nobody. No one gives a shit because John Jones is copping all the shit in this fight. So it's kind of good. This might actually be a good come-out party for her if people stop constantly accusing her of things, which they are rightfully doing because she has previously popped. But John Jones has popped 3 times now, and he's only just now copying this kind of criticism. Previously, he didn't cop anywhere near this kind of criticism. Oh, someone's messaging me. So yeah, that is that. So let's go to good old Dan Park's opinion on this fight. It's a very simple opinion, to be honest. He just reckons that Cyborg is going to KO Nunes. That's very fair, but this could be like, depending on how Amanda Nunes takes this fight, because Amanda Nunes does have takedowns. She does know how to take the fight to the ground. She's fallen in love with her striking a bit because obviously she knocked around Miesha Tate, knocked around Ronda Rousey, and then the same thing with Raquel Pennington. So she's getting pretty confident in her hands, but she also has decent submissions. But the majority of her submissions come from hurting these chicks with her hands. Like Sarah McMahon, she knocked her silly with her hands and choked her. Miesha Tate knocked her silly with her hands and choked her. Ronda Rousey knocked her silly with her hands, and then the ref called it. Raquel Pennington knocked her silly with her hands, then Raquel Pennington quit, and then the corner's like, "Soz, we don't allow that at this gym." And then Raquel went back out, copped another beating until the ref called it with them hands. So, Amanda Nunes got great takedowns, apparently really, really powerful hands. Miesha Tate constantly talks about how powerful Amanda Nunes is. So, for all we know, she might hit harder than Kris Cyborg. Kris Cyborg's got a very well-rounded Muay Thai game. Like, she throws a lot of kicks, knees, elbows, everything. But we've never seen her get hit by someone that hits as I don't feel like we've seen anyone that hits as hard as Amanda Nunes go up against. We saw Holly Holm, but Holly Holm didn't even play a kickboxing fight with her. She just clinched up with her, which is one of the things that kind of makes me a little bit worried because Holly Holm and Yana Kunitskaya, Yana took her down briefly with an ankle pick or a low single or something. I can't remember what it was. Once again, as I said, I haven't done great research on this fight. I really wish I did, but I haven't. But I remember it was something like an ankle. I'm gonna say it was a low single, like the one where you get right down on the shin and you put your shoulder into the shin and just pushes them over. So I'm gonna say it was that. But she took her down. A much smaller chick took down Kris Cyborg, and Holly Holm was able to put her up against the cage, and Kris Cyborg really had no answer for it up until the ref's like, let's break this up a little bit and start up again because it's getting kind of boring. So Yeah, Amanda Nunes, if she really wants to, she could take this fight to the ground and really mess Kris Cyborg up. Like, Kris Cyborg, yeah, she's got apparently a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But with these UFC fighters these days, what does that even mean? It might mean that she is a badass brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or it might mean that, I don't know, a coach just decided to give her a belt because she trains a lot. Who knows? Amanda Nunes got a black belt. Once again, who knows what that means, but she's definitely got a lot more submissions on her record than Kris Cyborg does. I think before I say that, let me just double check that. Yeah, Kris Cyborg, 0 submissions. Amanda Nunes, 3. Well, better than nothing, I guess. But Amanda Nunes with 11 knockouts. Kris Cyborg with 21. Whew. This, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be one sick-ass fight. Not enough people are talking about it. But, okay, so, my predictions. Jeez, really hard. This is another one. So, like, the main event and this co-main event, it can just go either way. A lot of these fights can go either way, depending on how the fight's going to go. Obviously, bit of a stupid thing to say, but I'm saying it. I'm going to go with Kris Cyborg. Cause, it's going to go with a bigger person. Bigger chick's just going to... You would assume the punches aren't going to hurt as much. You assume she's going to be able to stop the takedowns. I don't know if she'll be able to, but Amanda Nunes is probably going to tire in the later rounds. Kris Cyborg didn't tire against Holly Holm, despite the fact that Holly Holm did play a very tiring, like, grueling, clinching game with her. She still didn't tire, whereas Amanda Nunes has shown when she plays that type of game, even the fight goes around a bit, she tires out pretty quick. Because that's what lost her the fight against Kat Zingano. She took her to the ground, grappled a bit, fucking tried to punch the living daylights out of her, and then gassed out hard by the end of that second round. Coming to that third round, Kat Zingano just fucked her up. It was bad. Okay, so yeah, I'm going with Kris Cyborg there. So that's my pick. Okay. Oh, did I even put that up? Yeah, I did put that up, didn't I? Oh, jeez. That just shows the preparation on me today. Souls peeps. Yeah, that's the only graphics I got, and I've been falling real behind them. Okay, so we got Carlos Condit and Michael Chiesa. I love both these guys, man, but I love Carlos Condit more. Fuck, the natural born killer. Who does not love the natural born killer? This dude has had a career. That is for sure. He's had a pretty sketchy career ever since his fight with George St. Pierre. I mean, he lost to Johnny Hendricks, beat Martin Kampmann, lost to Tyron Woodley. A bit questionable, I guess you could say, knee injury. Then destroyed Thiago Alves, but then had a barn burner against Robbie Lawler, got smoked by Maia, smoked by Magny, and then smoked by Alex Oliveira. So, I don't know. I really don't know how this fight's going to go. You'd assume, knowing that his ground game has kind of fallen. He used to be really good on the ground. He'd get taken down easily all the time. Everyone could take him down. A gush of wind would take him down. But he could survive on the ground with almost anyone. Like, anyone that took him down, he was just really good at getting back to his feet or, like, applying submissions off his back. But I don't know. It just feels as though Michael Chiesa is going to be able to take the fight to the ground. He's going to be able to submit him. I don't want to believe it. I'm gonna have to pick someone. I'm gonna have to pick with my heart. Not like, I feel like Chiesa's got this. But I'm going to have to go with Condit because I just love him too much, man. He's given me too many great shows over the years. I mean, his fight with Rory McDonald, that he was getting beat up, somehow came back and won the fight in the final 10 seconds of that fight. That was crazy. And then his double left hook KO of Dan Hardy, where Dan Hardy threw a left hook, he threw a left hook. They both got hit, but Dan Hardy's the one that went down cold. Another drink, ladies and gentlemen. It's good shit. What else we got there? Dong-Yong Kim, where he threw that huge flying knee, knocked him dead. That was crazy. His fight with Jake Ellenberger, if you guys haven't seen that, go back and watch that. That was crazy. Back when Jake Ellenberger still had some fight left in him. That was a crazy fight. So yeah, he had a crazy run there. And obviously his rematch with Martin Kampmann beat him up. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Carlos Condit. I just want to believe the old Carlos Condit's still somewhere in there, and he just needed a couple of fights after that Robbie Lawler fight to get his shit back together. So yeah, I'm going to go with Carlos Condit, even though my better judgment tells me no. Alright, so now we've got Iril Latifi. Fuck, I should know how to say that name. Alil Latifi. We go with that. Okay, and Corey Anderson. So I'm going to go with Latifi on this one, just I feel as though Corey Anderson's best chance of winning this fight is going to be taking it to the ground. It's going to be a bit harder to take a shorter guy down. You can't get on. It's going to be hard to get into those legs. He might be able to play a Greco-Roman game, but I don't feel as though. Once again, turning off. I don't know why my headphones are turning off. Okay, so go back to what I was saying. I don't feel like Corey Anderson does have a good Greco-Roman game. I could be wrong. Maybe he is a Greco-Roman wrestler, but I feel like he's just more of a typical American wrestler. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Latifi here. He's got good power, good submissions after he hurts people. I feel like he's going to be able to get the fight to the ground if he wants to. It's going to be hard, but I feel like over 3 rounds he's going to get it there eventually, and he'll probably end up finishing Corey Anderson in probably second or third. So that's my pick for that one. What did Dan pick? Did Dan give a pick for that one? I don't feel like he did. Soz lads, once again. I'm not doing very well with this and my absence of preparation. Okay. Moving on, Chad Mendes and Alexander Volkanovski. Oh, Alexander the Great. I feel bad because I'm an Aussie and I'm picking against the Aussie. So, Soz Alexander. I got to go Chad Mendes here. This Chad Mendes, I just don't see how anyone beats him. He's got powerful wrestling, powerful punches. He good, like, solid submissions. He's kind of got everything you want in a fighter. Like, strong wrestling base, good boxing. It's what you want as basics in any fighter. Like, sure, doing all the fancy shit's good, but I don't know. Chad Mendes is a bit short, not small, short for the weight class. Let's look at these heights. He is 5'6". Alexander is 5'6", so they're both the same height. So I feel like Chad Mendes is going to be able to have his way here. Might be pretty tough. Alexander's a tough dude. But yeah, got to go Chad Mendes here. Wrestling, boxing, powerful ground and pound, good submissions, like off the top. I feel like he's going to have this fight. I will call this fight. He's going to get it with a guillotine. I don't feel like Chad Mendes has had any guillotines in his career, to be honest, or even any submissions in his career. They've mostly been. He's had 2 submissions. Let's have a look. When were those submissions, or what were they by? So he's got a guillotine choke back in the WEC days against Anthony Morrison. And his very first fight against Giovanni and something in the PFC with a rear naked choke. So he's got submissions, 2 submissions. Rest of his fights, he had a long decision-winning victory streak, and then he had a couple. Now that he's found power in his hands, he started knocking dudes out. Dude, he knocked out Ricardo Lamas in like 2 minutes. This is back in 2015, so Ricardo Lamas hadn't been knocked out a great deal previous to that. Obviously, what's his name knocked out Lamas? What's his name? That freckly white dude. Josh Emmett. So Josh Emmett knocked his tits off, but previous to that, okay, I take that back. He was knocked out a few times. I mean, Yuri Alcantara knocked him dead, and so did Danny Castillo. But yeah, Danny Castillo was a lightweight. Okay, I just proved myself wrong. Either way, Chad Mendes knocked him out. That was pretty big. I saw that as a big deal. So I'm going Chad Mendes here. Okay, moving down. So we're on the prelims now. So you got Andre Arlovski and Walt Harris. I'll go Andre Arlovski. Why not? Who's Walt Harris fought? He got beat by Werdum via armbar. Yeah, he's had a lot of fights in the UFC, Walt Harris. Good on him. But I'll go Andre Arlovski just because I want the old guy to win, really. Don't really have a great deal of reasons for that. Once again, tied. Soz guys. Kat Zingano and Megan Anderson. This is probably the easiest fight on the card to pick. Once again, I'm picking against the Aussie. Sorry. Got no Aussie pride here. I feel bad. But Kat Zingano, phenomenal wrestler. Phenomenal when she gets on top. She's got great ground and pound. And she's got gas for days. It's going to be tough to tire out. I think she gassed out in one of her fights. But she's been going through a lot of shit in her life. With her partner passing away and everything, so I feel like that's what's kind of affected her in her previous fights. But I feel like she's moved past that. She finally got that win against, who was it? She's only fought tough chicks. She hasn't fought any no names. Yeah, so Julia Pena was the fight where she kind of gassed out a bit. Caitlin Vieira beat her via split decision. That Caitlin Vieira is a good chick, man. She's watch out for her. She's pretty young as well, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, so she's 27. That Caitlin Vieira beat Sarah McMahon via arm triangle and then got a split decision over Kat Zingano. Although watching that fight, I thought Kat Zingano got absolutely dominated. So the split decision was like, huh, what's going on here? So yeah, so she lost to Ronda, lost to Pena, get Pena she gassed a little, which she didn't gas against Vieira, and she beat Mario Renault like with relative ease. And yeah, so she's got great takedowns, and Megan Anderson constantly over and over again got taken down by Holly Holm. So unless she has worked some like seriously off her back to make herself this crazy guard specialist, which I doubt she has. But she is a big chick. She's long. She might have some sneaky like triangles or probably triangles off her back, but and she's not going to stop the takedowns from Kat Zingano. You got to work hard to get to that level. Don't see it happening. I'm sorry, Megan Anderson. I really am. I really should have some more Aussie pride on me, but I got none to give. Okay, so moving on. Okay, how am I going to say Kat Zingano? I reckon she finishes it early in the second. I reckon she hurts her pretty bad in the first and then finishes in the second. Megan, hope you don't watch this. I sound like a horrible person. Okay, moving on. I don't know who this other person is. Douglas Silva de Andrade. I will go with Peter Yan. I saw one of his fights and it was pretty good. That's all I'm going off. Soz. So yeah, Peter Yan. Don't know how. I believe Dan also picked Peter Yan. He's a big believer in him, so yeah. Okay, so we go to BJ Penn and Ryan Hall. BJ Penn, fuck, one of my favorites. I got a BJ Penn gear. I went to Hawaii just so that I could go hang out where BJ Penn grew up and train at the BJ Penn gym and hopefully meet him, which I didn't. But I met his mum, got a photo with her. I should put that up, actually. Soz. Yeah, so BJ Penn, one of the greatest of all time, but just he's really hurting his career at the moment. I don't think he's had a win since 2011. Let's see if I'm right on that. So his last win was in 2010, so even further back. And then he got a decision draw against John Fitch. And then he got beat up pretty bad against Nick Diaz, got beat up really bad against Rory McDonald, got beat up really, really bad against Frank Edgar, got beat up really, really, really bad against Yair Rodriguez. And then kind of just stood there with Dennis Seaver. They both kind of looked at each other and went, do you want to hurt me? No. Do I want to hurt you? No. Let's not. Yeah, it kind of just seemed like they were both too afraid to throw anything. Seaver had too much respect for BJ Penn. BJ Penn was just kind of, he just wasn't doing anything. Don't understand why. So, I don't see how he's going to win this fight against Uriah Hall. How people are saying that Uriah Hall is not a striker, so there's no way he's going to knock him out. Dude, anyone can knock anyone out. And if you got a guy like BJ Penn who's not fighting to the potential that he used to, then a guy like Ryan Hall will easily be able to, even if the fight just goes to the ground, Ryan Hall's going to fuck up BJ Penn because Ryan Hall is he's like a new breed of jiu-jitsu stylist. So there's no way for him to win. He doesn't have a great deal of experience, but I'm sorry. I'm going to have to pick Ryan Hall here. BJ hasn't shown me anything since 2010, 8 years, to give me any reason to believe he can win this fight. It hasn't shown he's got power in his punches still. So, yeah. Wait. So I believe Ryan Hall is going up in weight for this fight. Yes, because his last fight was at featherweight, so he's going up in weight. Okay, yeah. So he fought Artem Lobov at lightweight, but they were both really featherweights. So yeah, go Uriah Hall here. I'm going to say he's going to win via might even win via ground and pound. He might even take him down, just pound him. I'm going to say submission. Hopefully he's going to be nice in that. Don't know anyone here. Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall. I'm going to pick Uriah Hall, but we got Dan saying that he's been a bit of a disappointment. Can't disagree with you, Dan. He has been a bit of a disappointment. So yeah, this Bevon Lewis probably will beat Uriah Hall. Hopefully not. I'm going to pick Uriah Hall via, I don't know, decision. We'll go decision. Why not? Okay, Curtis Millinger and Sia Bahadurazada. I just butchered that name. I'm a bad person. Oh well. Okay, so I'm going to say Curtis Millinger. Sayar's phenomenal. I love the dude. Love watching him fight. He's always in fun fights. Once again, my headphones turning off. I do not know why they're turning off, but they are. Yeah, so I'm going to go Curtis Millinger here, just because I've seen a few of his fights now, and he just impresses the shit out of me. He's an explosive technical striker. It's just ridiculous in his fucking head kicks and his flying knees. Just like, dude, I felt that, and that hurt me. Don't do that again. So, yeah, I'm going to go Curtis Millinger here. I'll say decision, because Sierra, however you want to pronounce it, just seems like a badass dude who's not going to get finished easily. So, there we go. Okay, and plus Curtis wasn't able to finish Max Griffin, so I feel like if you're not going to be able to finish Max Griffin, you're going to struggle to finish Sayer. God damn it. Brian Kelleher against Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson, that sounds familiar. I feel like I should know who that is, but I don't. So I'm going to say Brian Kelleher, just because I've seen him more. He's very weird type of striker. And, oh, did he miss weight? Who missed weight here? Wayne's Jackson missed weight. Okay, so he was 1 pound over the limit. So he is fined 20% of his purse, and he's already losing 10% to taxes that he didn't know he was going to lose. So he's losing 30% of his purse. God damn it, poor guy. That is sad, isn't it? All right. Well, this thing has gone for 31 minutes. I apologize. I did not mean to go that long. I just kind of like going through the entire card. It was a bit of fun for me. That's what this whole thing is about for me. It's supposed to be a bit of fun. Okay, so I guess we should thank our sponsors at Scammer. Best place to train in Narrow Warren, Crossroad and Fountain Gate. If you're ever in town, come down, train some jiu-jitsu. It's fun. We're all great. No one's crazy. No wipeout rage going on. No TTDs, as we call them, to the deaths. People that like to roll and really hurt you because, you know, it's not training. It's like blood sport or something. Also, Aussie Pet Doors. If you want to put a hole in your door but don't want to do it yourself, go to Aussie Pet Doors. Yes, aussiepetdoors.com.au. Go there. Yeah, and if you like what we're doing, like, share, subscribe. Fuck, if you don't like what we're doing, like it, share it, and just be like, fuck these guys, but share it anyway so other people watch it. Views. What else? Okay, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. I haven't put anything up on Twitch in a while. I probably should. Could have another sip. Yeah, so Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, I've already said Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, we're on everything, man. We're on everything. If I miss something, fucking drop it down below and I'll do something about it. Yeah, so that was fun. Hope you guys found it fun. I found it fun. Hopefully it was somewhat educational. Hopefully it wasn't. Who knows? Peace out, yo.